welcome to another edition of Founder Wisdom Podcast. Today we have Irina Alexander. She is the founder of Academy of MotivAction, which is an interesting business we'll talk about in a moment. Irina, can you introduce yourself and your business?
Great day, everybody. As Charles said, my name is Irina Alexander, and I'm the founder of Academy of MotivAction, which means we train business owners, entrepreneurs on mindset, sales, profitability, create the success they want in life, and the life freedom they desire.
Cool. So I can see on your LinkedIn here, you were a realtor, you know Russian, you know Chinese. Can you tell us a bit more like how you created that business over the years? Because that didn't came instantly. I think you started your career like around 15 years ago. Can you go back in time and tell us about your first work experiences here?
My first work experience, back in college, I was a tour guide in China. Mm-hmm. That's how I speak Chinese. A little bit fast forward in China, during Olympic Games, I met my future husband, mm-hmm. and he's from America. And that's how I moved to America. And in transition between, mm-hmm. what happened is I graduated college. Mm-hmm. I got my master's in business, and I opened a small woman's boutique store, woman's clothing store, with my best friend.
Interesting. And how did you ended up in China in the first place? Because are you Russian? Like, is that your origin?
Yes, I'm originally from Russia. Actually, was born in USSR, mm-hmm. the country that doesn't exist anymore. So yes, I was born there. Got my first education there. Mm-hmm. Opened my first business there, and moved to America and kind of had to start all over again. Mm-hmm. Just to always been interested in real estate in Russia and here in America. So got my real estate license to understand how things work, and mostly for personal investment, also help few friends. Never made it as a career. It was just kind of like a side hustle. Mm-hmm. And in 2016, that's when my husband lost his job, and we decided to open a business because we were thinking about it, but yet it just never was the right time. So here we are. Little crisis in the family. I am 5 months pregnant with our second child. No better time to start a business adventure. And what I thought is actually going to be a business adventure for both of us. And when you open a business, you know that people don't start throwing money at you just because you opened your business. And it was a heating and air conditioning company here in Texas. Nobody threw money at us, and mm-hmm. he had to go back to work kind of to keep our family on the float while mm-hmm. I was running the company full time. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how my business background and how it started. And business done well. However, with the business success came burnout. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, I was literally driving on the highway, and I was like, I am done. I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm coming home. And she was like, what do you mean? I haven't been in Russia in 9 years. Yeah. And she was like, what do you mean you're coming home? I was like, I just need to get away. So I went back for a few weeks. And when I came back to the States, I realized that I do not want to do that anymore. Money don't buy happiness, and I was definitely mentally not in a good place. In that process, so I decided, okay, while we were transitioning out of the business, I started doing a lot of personal development growth. At the same time, since I built that community of business owners, and that's how I became successful in business, a lot of people reached out to me and say, how did you do that, right? How is the young foreign girl end up running an HVAC company and, making so many connections and so on? So people started coming to me, and one of those people was my friend who owns a coaching company.
Okay.
And he said, come coach business owners. And I was like, no. So it took almost a year for him to convince me to share my knowledge and help business owners, because I know what works and I also know what doesn't work, because I've been through it. I walked the walk.
Yep.
And on top of that, so I started coaching business owners, and I realized that a lot of times, we as a human beings, as a business owners, we cannot outgrow our business. We need to invest in ourselves more than, we do our job, our business. And that's where mindset and certain neuroscience tools and techniques come into play. And when I discovered that, I was like, it's going to be a perfect combination, because huge companies and corporations, they already do that. They already invest millions of dollars into leadership and all the skills, yet business owners, a lot of times they don't. And that's how Academy of MotivAction was born, is not just a business coaching, but also a lot of neuroscience, mindset, psychology, and things like that we teach and train business owners as well as their team to become successful. So
I'll get to
that's
that.
a long answer to your question.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk, but we'll get to that later. The present and the neuroscience tips, which I think will be super useful for my audience. I want to get back a little bit to your period as a realtor and HVAC president here, because the HVAC thing was for 3 years. The realtor was for 8 years. I guess you were still doing some realtor stuff while you were building the HVAC, which, I mean, I've done it myself, ran like 2 big startups, and yeah, one had to go, like a couple of years ago, and I had to close that one down, and it was very painful. I want to get back to what exactly led to the burnout. Was it like managing 2 businesses at the same time and trying not to go crazy? Was it the lack of sleep? What exactly led you to say, like, okay, I've had enough, I need to stop everything now?
Well, it's never one factor, right? It's that consistently doing a lot of things at the same time and trying to juggle a lot of things. That's what overall leads to burnout. It's not
Fatigue.
Like something happens once and all of a sudden you're done. It's not. So for me, it was, first of all, I had 2 little kids, right? One was a newborn, the other one was 2-year-old. So I have 2 little kids. My husband works out of town. So I was by myself anywhere from 7 to 9 months out of the year. And full-time heating and air conditioning company, which we just started, which means that it takes most of my attention, from marketing, hiring people, and things like that. And like I said, phone is not going to ring. So what I was doing, I was either in the office, right, taking care of working in a business, doing whatever it takes, or I was networking. I was at 3 to 5 networking events a week. Some of them I was running myself. I was also ambassador with a local chamber of commerce and so on. So I was doing too many things. There was never a day off. The phone was always there. I was on my computer all the time. I was on my phone. So there hasn't been a weekend where it's like, I'm not touching everything. I'm not answering any emails. It's always an emergency, right?
Yep.
Or at least you treat it as it is always an emergency. So living like that for a short period of time is doable. For me, after 3 years, I was done. It's just not a sustainable lifestyle, having little kids, doing everything by yourself and working instead of 60 to 80 hours a week. So,
yeah, for sure. And what lessons have you derived of that? What mental models, what neuroscience do you apply nowadays to prevent that type of burnout?
so setting up boundaries, it's one of the important things. There is also simple rules of perception is projection and life is a mirror, which means everything you see is a reflection of you. So, and when your employees don't do certain things and you say you are, and you get why don't you understand, and blah, 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 it led for me to realize that it's all me. It's all my limited beliefs, my inability to communicate properly. If somebody didn't understand something, it means that I did not properly explain it. I also learned how to turn off my brain. We all have that internal talk all the time. What was with me is when I go to sleep, I could not turn it off. I would wake up in the morning and I felt like I was working all night because I was thinking about everything that can go wrong and needs to be done, by putting checklists in my head. So now I can sleep. Now I have rules of not taking my laptop to the bedroom. Now it's like, okay, here's an office, everything stays in the office, and I do not. There's no emergencies anymore. When before, somebody sends an email and reply 10 o'clock at night or whatever time it was. So setting those boundaries and rules around like, hey, this is my work time and this is my rest time, and learn how to manage your thinking and internal talk and being able to have a full rest to perform your best. That's one of the things that I implemented.
For sleep, this is very good stuff that you're mentioning. And I want to add over that meditating yourself to sleep is very efficient to shut off the brain. And before you meditate yourself to sleep, like probably meditating once a day, even if it's 5 or 7 minutes, and shutting off the thoughts because it's something that needs to be practiced, just like a muscle, can help you at the time that you're in bed when you need to meditate yourself to sleep. Sometimes I give myself some little privilege in the bed. For example, I don't know, think about a creative story, to kind of distract my brain if he's really affected by one event. But else, I think that especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're stressed out and you've had a big day, I think it's better to just shut it all down. And yeah, sometimes you might get good ideas once you're in bed, but I mean, it's not worth the payment, of not sleeping. And the feeling that you described, I've had it various times over my entrepreneurial career. Of I don't know how to describe it, but like working with my pillow, like that's the the literal feeling I had when I would wake up and I had done like valuable work with my pillow. And yeah, this is just weird. But thank you for your tips. It's very good for entrepreneurs, so that they don't burn out, because I did experience some part of it myself over the year. Now I want to talk about MotivAction, the Academy. Basically, what exactly do you offer as a training, and is it only for small business entrepreneur? Who are your customers?
Okay. So according to SBA, Small Business Administration, they consider small businesses any business with under 500 employees, which is, once again, according to SBA, 99.9% of businesses in America are have less than 500 employees. So therefore, if I say that I focus on small businesses, which means I focus on 99.9% of the businesses and entrepreneurs, and which is a very broad niche, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, my filters are more LinkedIn, like, so 0 to 10 will fit a small business. Medium would be probably 10 to 250. And it's more of a tribal way of viewing things as well. Tribal filters. Once the tribe outgrows 200 human, it's a big tribe, and you start getting scalability problems. So I mean, more like, do you focus on 0 to 10 to, let's say, like maximum, I don't know, 50 employees in terms of your audience, or do you also go higher than that?
For me, it's not important the size of the business, as I focus on entrepreneurs themselves first. Because if entrepreneur comes to me and say, hey, I am perfect, but my team needs you, that's a red flag to me. Because nobody is perfect. And if you think that you don't need to work on yourself and grow and learn leadership skills and communication skills, then doesn't matter how great your team is, you won't be able to see what you need to see. Therefore, my main focus is entrepreneurs, business owners that are open to learn and want more, right? They already achieved certain degree of success. Yes, they know that there is something is missing. And a lot of times, as I would describe small business owners, is under 100 employees. And that's what I see with a revenue of 1 million plus.
And so what are their typical problems? Like when they come to those seminars, like what do they tell you? Irina, I have a problem with.
So we start usually, there is a process how it's all put together. We start with usually 1 day sales and communication because everybody wants more sales, everybody wants to close better, have a better closing rate and things like that. And they want to be able to communicate better with the customers, clients, prospects, team members, being a better leader. So that's a 1 day workshop. From there, we help them realize that, hey, while this is business side is great, however, there is more because, perfectionism, procrastination, beliefs, certain mindset, that's what is actually influencing everything that is happening in your business as well as in your life. And that's when they decide to go to a next level, which is a full merge, 4-day or 7-day experience where they, like, it takes them out of their environment because it's 10+ hour days. So they don't have time to do anything else other than merge into trainings. And that's when they learn neuroscience tools and techniques to be able to influence their own mindset and be able to pass along those skills to be a better communicators with themselves and others to achieve what they want and desire.
What communication problems do they have most of the time?
What communication problems? Usually people don't hear or don't understand, right? You say certain things and it's being interpreted different, like from a simple standpoint of woman and man communication, if you don't give me flowers, it means you don't love me. Well, when did you decide that? To a business relationship is you don't spend enough time with me, which means that you don't trust me or you don't want to listen to what I have to say. While in reality is I don't spend enough time with you because I trust you and I know that you are fully capable of do certain things. So that understanding that how people's humans' brain work and how everybody filter information differently and how to be able to properly communicate so what you're saying being understood properly, because you say one thing and I'll give an example of when some kind of accident happens and police goes and takes reports, right? It will take reports from 30 people. And those 30 people, they all will have a different perspective because they saw things from a different angle and they heard it differently because we all have different filters in our head as the information comes in. So I teach about that, how our mind works, to help them understand how to communicate properly, to deliver information, and not to be a manager, but actually be a leader. Because I always say that managers kill businesses. We need leaders. We need people that can lift others up.
Are leaders naturally made? And if not, like, how can they learn and how can they get to a leadership position in a company as quick as possible?
How can they get to the leadership position? Uh, it depends on where they at. It's actually a business owner, right? They already should be seen as a leader. And that's one thing. So you just work on your skills to be able to better communicate, to pull your team up and create that structure for them. But if you are an employee, right, that's a question for the owner you work for. What needs to happen in order for me to reach certain position, and also how you present yourself around others, because leadership is not a side role. You being a leader by people choosing you and choosing to follow you and listen to you and value what you have to say. Because you putting I'm a leader doesn't mean you are. If nobody listens to you and nobody follows.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the leader has the intention to lead and does not wait for someone else to tell him what to do. He is or she is a creative person and will constantly step forward. When there's a problem, they'll be the first to try to find a solution, and also they will be good at segmenting a problem and distributing their parts to various individuals that could help them execute that problem. Coming back to your seminars, I think we stopped at day 2. How many days in total are your seminars?
So there is a 1-day workshop, then there is practitioner level, which is 4 days, and there is master level, which is 7 days. And then we are planning on some retreats that I think we're going to do at the beginning of the year, kind of to set the year right, to create a goal, manifestation, and things like that. That is our current schedule.
Okay. And how much do these workshops retail for? Like, how should I pay if I want to come for like 7 days?
7 days is right now, I believe, at $69.97.
Okay, $69.97. So like $7,000.
Okay. $7,000, yes.
And
you get a certified? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How do you? So I get a certification, okay. And how do you market to these business owners? Is it still networking? Is it Facebook ads? How do you get to know these business owners and have them come to your seminars?
My biggest is word of mouth and definitely networking, because people see me. People saw where I was. I still have a lot of contacts and businesses I know from my heating and air conditioning business, because I was networking so much. They saw my journey and they was like, well, I can totally relate. I want to know what you know. And that's what's been kind of helping. And I have people traveling. I have people coming from Colorado. I have one lady who supposed to fly in from South Africa. The other guy is flying from Guyana, South America. So clients from business coaching and the networking circle, the circle of business owners that I've been around. I've been in for quite some time, since 2016, which is 6 years now.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. You look like the super mom / super woman, like successful, and you have kids and all that. I think a lot of women dream to be like that. How's networking nowadays? Because I mean, I'm more of a scalable type of guy. Like I'll do Facebook ads and I'll just spend more to get more clients, and or I'll do cold email, which surprisingly is scalable. How is the state of networking nowadays? Is it still back to normal? And do you have plans of also exploring like other channels other than referrals and word of mouth?
So here in Austin, I almost call it the capital of networking, because that's how it works here. Honestly, it might not work in every other city, but here networking is back to normal. People are actually hungry for real human connection.
Okay, interesting.
And especially because all of the events I do are live. And so I attract a lot of people who want that, who want to be in person and learn it in person. And there are different schools where they do it online, and it's totally working and it's great. This is my style of teaching, and I believe that's works the best. And as of scalability, as I train people and they go through the programs, I usually pick couples that eventually become a part of my coaching team, part of being the team members and coaches. So scaling as of not me doing everything is one. And then, looking for the right people who will be able to build sales funnels, to utilize Facebook ads and so on to attract people 100%. That's why we have one-day event, which is a low-cost event. We on average have a 50% conversion rate from 1 day to then 4-day and 7-day, which works beautifully because, for very low cost, you receive full day of value, true value. And if you want more, we offer you more. And we teach how to sell with integrity, and we do exactly what we teach you to do.
Interesting. So where do you want to take the business, say 5 years from now? How do you visualize MotivAction to look like?
So as of in 5 years, probably 50 million in revenue. More on the destination. So not only have trainings in Austin, but also some destination-based trainings, team of coaches, at least 10 people, as of coaches, trainers, and probably 500 licensees. That's a new program that probably will be launched in the next couple of years, where we teach them what we do, so they can go and do it on their own and create their small training, have a license to replicate. Because MBA overall teaches how to model excellence. So you figure out what works, and then you just model that. And that's where the licensing program will come and play.
Oh, that's pretty ambitious. I love it. What books are you reading nowadays?
What books do I read? I just finished Brain Influence, but 2 in 1. That's a great book. 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I believe one of the feedback I got the other day is like, it's a heavy book, and I said I agree, and it makes way more sense after you do some NLP and neuroscience training, because I would not recommend it until you you go through it. So those are 2 latest ones that I read. I usually have several at the same time. Exit Reach is one of them. It's actually on my Kindle. So I have audiobooks, I have Kindle, and I have few old school books. One of them is Story Brand, which is a great book about marketing. I heard Donald Miller speaking live in Las Vegas last month, I believe, or 2 months ago, and he made such a great impression that I was like, I want to know all what he does, how he does it, and it's definitely on my radar to attend any of his future trainings he will have.
Donald Miller, interesting. I'll Google him. Story Brand. I think I have that one on my Kindle as well. Last question: what advice would you have for founders starting out there?
Founders who are starting out there. First of all, keep going. Doesn't matter what happens, keep going and find like-minded people to support you. And in those low moments that we all go through, have those people support you, reach out to them. It's very important to have that firm shoulder you can sometimes cry on, or somebody can relate to you. And not literally cry on, but having that support that somebody says, you got it, you're not alone, we all been through it. It's not you being special and have a special problems. It's just a part of entrepreneurship and business ownership. Having that community who can help you rise and lift you up, all boats rising. So yeah, that's what I would suggest to people who are starting the business journey.
Thank you so much for all your advice, Irina. I will keep you posted as per when the podcast will be online.
Thank you.
One last thing. Where can people find you out before we end this podcast?
All right. You can find me personally on Instagram, which is Your Favorite Russian. There is a story behind that. Came also from business world and networking. Also, our website, Academy of MotivAction, Motivation and Action, one word, MotivAction.com. There you can find all the information about our academy and all future events that we host.
All right. Thank you so much, Irina.
Thank you.